Welcome everyone to 3 Count Commentaries. I am MagMongoSlade. Today we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from Grand Rapids, Michigan, November 11th, 2024. According to WrestleTix, 8,508 tickets were distributed for this episode of Monday Night Raw as of yesterday, which will be the 10th. So it's probably in the 8,000 to 9,000 in attendance. Okie dokie. And it's not terrible, I guess. What was it last time? Let's see. It was 7,000 last time. Around this same time last year, which was November the 20th. So it went up. Pretty substantial too. About 1,200 in attendance. It's not bad. This show, I will say, I didn't really care for it. Next week actually sounds a lot better. But next week is taped, which is ridiculous. Because now Bron Breakker and Sheamus, we're going to have a spoiler for it. The Bronson, Reed, and Seth Rollins, we're going to have a spoiler for that. Did we really need Ludwig, Kaiser versus Damian Priest on this show? And then for you to tape Bron Breakker versus Sheamus so you could spoil that for next week? No, this is backwards, but Thanksgiving, I guess. All right, let's get into it. I'm trying to be serious here, be professional. That's what y'all guys come here for. Gunther says that he doesn't look to the past. Not going to talk about losing to Cody. He's focused on the future. And around that time, Damian Priest comes out, starts cutting his promo. Says that he wants to see if Gunther's going to trash talk him to his face. Then he started saying how Gunther is doubting himself and that he knows that Gunther is doubting himself because if he was anybody else, he'd have swung on him by now. Gunther can't beat him. So, as Gunther is standing there, for some reason he's flummoxed. I don't get it. Here comes Ludwig Kaiser, who is trash talking Damian Priest, and then Gunther smacks the microphone out of Ludwig Kaiser's hand. Kaiser says, No, I'm not going to let this street trash talk about you like that. And then Gunther is, surprised that Kaiser is going to stand up for him. And then Damian Priest beats up Ludwig Kaiser, and Gunther then powders. He doesn't want no part of Damian Priest. It seems like Gunther is taking Undertaker's suggestion to heart and showing a little weakness, showing a little doubt. At the same time, there's some element of they're trying to add some air of nobility to his character, but showing a little cowardice, a little punani. This leads us to a match later on where Damian Priest defeats Ludwig Kaiser with the South of Heaven. The match was what it was. I mean, there's nothing special about it, to be quite honest. Ludwig Kaiser has a lot of potential. I don't know why he's in this view. I guess why he's in this position is pretty obvious. He takes pins for Gunther. That's his job. After the match, Gunther and Damian Priest had another stare down, but nothing came of it. Gunther once again backed off. They're going to wrestle each other at Survivor Series because I guess somebody's going to defend a title at Survivor Series. So Gunther versus Damian Priest at Survivor Series, that's fine. I'm not interested in this feud, I guess you could say, because it's not much of a feud. Damian Priest won a stinky fatal 4-way or something like that in order to get this match. It's not earned. It's just like you win one match and it's like winning the lottery. Now you're in the title contention. And now we have to try to make that make sense. And it almost never does. Dakota Kai is back. I don't know why. Countdown to her next injury. What would you think is going to go out next? She's going to have a slipped nose or something like that. Io Sky defeats, I believe it was Shayna Baszler. She absolutely crushed her with that moonsault. Pretty nutty. Damage Control defeats Pure Fusion Collective, the League of Extraordinary Lesbians. I haven't seen them on TV in a while. I was actually wondering if they were still employed. Triple H and his love of Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. As much as he probably has a crush on them, he is absolutely infatuated with Io Sky. I'm saying she is the girl Chad Gable. There was a time where Chad Gable was on this show every single week. But that now is Io. Io is on this show every week. Every week. And she gets a good chunk of time. This match was way too long. She gets a good chunk of time every week. So Kofi Kingston and R-Truth and Pete Dunne and all this stuff happened. So R-Truth got jumped last week, and Kofi Kingston thanked him for helping him, but also apologized for not helping Truth when Truth got jumped. Said, I don't know, he doesn't know what's going on with Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods just wants Kofi to mind his own business, focus on himself. Then Pete Dunne came up, got upset that Truth kept calling him Butch. Kofi was upset that Pete Dunne was talking trash about Truth. He decided that he was going to fight Pete Dunne on Truth's behalf, much to the chagrin of Xavier Woods. And so they had the match, and Pete Dunne won the match with the bitter end after some miscommunication between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. After the match, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods actually started yelling at each other as Kofi shoved Xavier Woods and told him that he needed to be more selfish, he needed to focus on winning and not focusing so much on helping other people. I'm telling you, this needs to either speed up or stop. One or the other. I read somewhere on the internet, and I probably shouldn't even bring it up, but I'm going to anyway, because why not? That they're trying to drag this thing until the 10-year anniversary of the New Day, where they're going to do some kind of special segment where either they're going to bring back Big E or they're going to break them up. I'm pretty sure I read that. Probably some dirt sheet wrote it. I don't know how long that is from now, but it needs to be soon. How much longer can we deal with these guys arguing with each other? You know, it's going on for too long. It's too much of this. Just too much. And they're not the only team that's now arguing. Now Dominic and Finn Balor have an issue. Because Dominic was supposed to become the number one contender for the world title, yet he failed to do so. But Dominic claims that he was closer to being world champion than Finn Balor was. Now Finn Balor got in his face. Now they're having problems. JD McDonough's head is bigger than ever. Still bigger than the rest of his body. Finn Balor, who is miserable, I don't know why. There's no explanation for his misery outside of him losing to Damian Priest and him being upset that Damian Priest is now close to being world champion again. He suggests that Carlito and Dominic fight the War Raiders next week to prepare the War Raiders to fight JD and Finn for the tag team titles. Is that my understanding of what's going on here? And Dominic agreed to do this, and Carlito did not agree and also tried to talk him out of it. But this was the only thing that they did all night. And this seems very random. That now the Judgment Day are yelling at each other again. Seems very random. I guess you have to create something. It's just... I watch this show every week. I'm not sure what they're arguing about. Everybody knew Dominic was going to lose. I'm pretty sure there was nobody in their right mind who thought Dominic was going to win that match. Even if it made sense in storyline for Dominic to win, nobody thought that Dominic was going to become the number one contender to the world title. That's literally stupid. So why is Finn Balor fuming about it? Dominic saying, I tried to fight, but nobody was out there to help me. Where were you? That was a good question. What was Finn Balor when all that was going on? Finn Balor claims he was keeping an eye on the War Raiders. He was focused on the tag team titles. What the hell? Stop this. Just stop it. Whatever it is, just cut it out. Stop doing what you're doing. Now we're going to get to the part of the show that twisted my wig all the way off. Like a Pepsi top. My Lord have mercy. Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins comes out wearing plastic bags on his legs. I have no idea what's going on, but his pants, they just absolutely look like you have to take out the trash. But that wasn't even the worst part. They had a brawl between him and Bronson Reed. He climbs up on the second ropes after escaping. He comes up on the side and he throws punches at Bronson Reed's head. And let me be assured, those were the safest punches anybody's ever taken in pro wrestling. Those punches were as bad as a Sammy Guevara promo. Where is my stars? They was so bad. They were the Marina Shafir promo of punches. You don't know me. They were terrible punches. Now, shout out clearly to Stevie Richards, who brought this to everybody's attention. Because he was talking about how terrible Seth Rollins' punches were, and I wasn't paying attention, to be quite honest. I don't know when the last time I paid attention to something Seth Rollins had done. But here, I was like, okay, now was a fine time to look at this. And you look at these punches, I just put my head in my hands. This guy has been in WWE for 10 years, over 10 years. He debuted in 2013, 2012 or something. And he's still throwing the shittiest punches of all time. It's so bad. They're so bad. Oh my word. He trains students. He's got a WWE IED school. Are you going to teach Jack Cartwheel how to throw punches, Seth? Are you going to throw those kinds of punches, Seth? Is that what you're going to teach him? At least he's not cross-dressing anymore. This is so bad. Anyway, Seth is very mad. Adam Pearce is also very mad. He wants to fight Bronson Reed. Adam Pearce says, okay, sure, finish it. But didn't give him any kind of stipulation or anything like that to make it interesting. So they're going to spoil that match for us. It's more than likely going to end up being some kind of disqualification or some other butt fuckery. So then there's that. They told us some really bad news that Bron Breakker lost to Sheamus in the Speed tournament. I needed to know that. I needed to know that Bron Breakker, the Intercontinental Champion, has not been featured on Raw in 2 or 3 weeks because he's losing Speed tournament matches. Thanks. I really needed to know that. Thanks for keeping me abreast of that situation, Triple H. That you're doing such a great fucking job. That your rookie killer is losing within 3 minutes to Sheamus. Good job in making sure everybody knew that. So he tries to explain this, saying that, he's ambitious. He was trying to win 2 belts, and he would have won 2 belts if it wasn't for that bum Sheamus. So Sheamus walked up to him and confronted him and then challenged him for the title. Bron Breakker accepted that challenge. So he's going to kick his old ass. I'm fine with this match as a match. You know, it would have been nice if he would have built it up. It would have been nice if I couldn't just look on Twitter and see Bron Breakker get beaten 3 minutes. Probably less than 3 minutes. Because that's how long a speed match is, isn't it? This has got... Somebody bring back Michael Hayes. This thing needs some Confederate flavor. All right? Somebody need to bring back Bruce. Bring back Michael Hayes. It's a problem. There's something going on here. There's something amiss. The machine ain't work. I hear clickety clanking. The muffler is dragging on this thing. Under no circumstances should you be talking about Bron Breakker. You're the guy who should be on the verge of main eventing WrestleMania. You got him losing on Twitter in 3 minutes to Sheamus. I should never hear about that. Oh, everybody works speed. Io Sky works speed matches and she lost too. I don't care about Io Sky. Don't tell me about somebody else that lost a speed match. I'm talking about Bron Breakker shouldn't be losing matches at all, let alone speed matches to Sheamus. You sons of bitches. You idiots. Moving on. Sami Zayn and Jimmy and Jey Uso. Oh, Lord. So there's still some heat between Jimmy and Sami, but they want to have a fifth member because the War Games is 5-on-5. I wasn't expecting that. I thought they were going to go 4-on-4. I don't even like War Games. I wish this was just a regular Survivor Series match, but you got to do what you got to do. This is the third straight Bloodline War Games, isn't it? Might have been the fourth straight, but I know for certain it's the third straight. So they need to find a fifth man, and Sami says he's got a plan. He's got somebody. He got somebody in mind. He goes and he asks Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins listens to this pitch as Sami Zayn says that when he was rejoining the Bloodline, it was because there was a family bond. A bond between him and Jey, him and Roman. And that bond never goes away. And he knows that there has to be a bond between Seth and Roman. And nobody knows Roman as well as Seth does. And Seth listens to the pitch and then says, like, man, are you out of your goddamn mind? I'm not teaming with Roman Reigns. Why would anybody want to team with Roman Reigns? So it's just all sensible stuff here. Despite the fact that he can't throw a punch. Despite the fact that he's wearing green trash bags on his legs. At least he's sensible here. It's pure dumbass for him to team with Roman Reigns. That's stupid. So he's like, okay, I don't even understand why you're teaming up with Roman Reigns. Not going to do this. That's dumb. So he leaves Sami in the dust. Apparently Seth Rollins is a hot commodity because he goes out to the parking lot where Solo Sikoa is outside with Jacob Fatu is standing there like a statue with his hands together. I love you, Solo. And he's like, okay, sure, you hate Roman Reigns. You should fight Roman Reigns. You should join my team. So Seth Rollins says, okay, next time I'm in the ring with Roman Reigns, I will be fighting Roman Reigns. I will never team with Roman Reigns ever again, which of course is, you can't say stuff like that in pro wrestling. But he'll never team with Roman Reigns again, but he'll also not be teaming with a wannabe Roman Reigns. They got a good reaction from the crowd. Solo was disgusted. And Seth Rollins is now not interested in either team. I think it's pretty clear that the person they're going to pick for the Sami Zayn team is going to be Cody Rhodes. I'm pretty sure that's going to be their pick. Now, for the Bloodline side, the Bloodline 2.0, the Bloodline Wolfpack, I'm pretty sure their choice, it better not be Kevin Owens. I would hope it's not Kevin Owens. It might be Kevin Owens because Triple H likes putting Kevin Owens in this match. Some people think it's going to be Hikuleo, who apparently has been signed for a little while now. He is the brother of Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. I think that if it was going to be him, you would bring him in soon and not have him show up just for the Bloodline this match. You would bring him in a little bit sooner. You probably should have brought him in by now, if we're being honest. And it would make sense if it's him because he's a member of the family. And it would fit that Solo Sikoa can't find anybody else, so he would just dig in the bag and bring out somebody who's already related to them. If you have in your mind that The Rock is going to join this match, you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, can you count past 10? Because you would have to have the ability to count past 10. in order to not be retarded, right? You have to be retarded if you think The Rock's about to work a War Games match. He's too busy dressing like shit for GQ. What the fuck was he wearing anyway? Like, it seemed like these magazines and all this stuff, I'm trying not to get off into the weeds, but it seemed like they don't try to accentuate masculinity anymore. They try to turn these guys into models, and they all just look ridiculous. It's just ridiculous shit. Like, The Rock probably looks great in a suit or something like that. You make him sit there with a little pug and a Christmas sweater. It's like, why would you want to make The Rock less cool? Why would you go out of your way to make The Rock look less cool? I don't know. I don't get it. That shit gay and it's unusual. In any event, Hikuleo, maybe. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Cody on the other team, though. Because Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes have a relationship. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sami and Cody going to join the Bloodline team, Roman Reigns' team. Even though Cody shouldn't want anything to do with this. And that would actually do a good job of triggering a Kevin Owens joining Solo Sikoa's team. Because Kevin Owens, I'm trying to remember, has he had the knockdown, drag out wars with Solo's team that he's had with the Usos and Roman? Clearly he hasn't. He hasn't had as much butting of heads with Solo and his team as he had with Roman and Usos. So you could get away with it being Kevin Owens, but I wouldn't want it to be Kevin Owens. But more than likely, just because they want to do something, it could be Kevin Owens, I guess. Not a huge fan, if we're being honest. All right. What else we got here? Karrion Kross. Now, this was actually pretty funny. I was very entertained by this. I was very sports entertained by this. So, Karrion Kross walked up to The Miz. The Miz got kidnapped last week. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I was pissed off at Raw. So, The Miz is free now. And Karrion Kross finds The Miz. Says to The Miz, where are the Wyatts? Where is they? Where are they? What's going on? And The Miz says, I apologize to them. They let me go. I'm a changed man now. And you need to let this go. I'm not going to lie. When he looked at Karrion Kross, the dead in the eyes, and said, I'm a changed man, but I couldn't stop laughing. It was one of the most ridiculous things. It was ridiculous. It was hilarious. So, Kross remember I said I was going to break your legs. So then he had AOP grab The Miz and drag him to the ring, which is exactly what happened. And they barely touched him and The Miz started bleeding. So he's got a cut under his eye and he's bleeding and he's like, oh no, what's going on? And Karrion Kross wants to know where the Wyatts are and whoop, here they are all of a sudden. All of them are there. So the Final Testament lined up with the Wyatts, and they were going to start the brawl, and then The Miz hit Eric Rowan with a chair. And the brawl begins, and the Final Testament kicks the shit out of the Wyatts. This includes Scarlett throwing Nikki Cross on the floor outside the ring, and she bounced off the floor. I was like, oh my God. This included Uncle Howdy get his shit kicked in. So the Wyatts got beat up. And this was a great heat segment. But all the heat went on The Miz. All the heat for this segment went onto The Miz. None of it got on Karrion Kross. None of it got on Scarlett. None of it got on anybody in the Final Testament. It all went to Miz. Miz stole the heat for the entire segment. I don't know how that is even possible. When he was actually, it started out as the victim in this segment. Now, of course, we figured out that it was just a ruse later, that it was a trick in order to lure the Wyatts out. At least, that's what the guy, I forgot that guy's name already. The new dude on commentary, what's his name? Tessitore? Tessitore. That's what he said. And he's a smart guy. I'm pretty sure he knows his left from his right. He uses his left and right turn signals, and he kisses his children goodnight every night. I'm pretty sure he's a very nice guy. So I'm just gonna take his word for it. That this was a ruse put together by The Miz and Karrion Kross to lure Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, out of his hiding place where they could beat him up and hit him with chairs. So Bo Dallas starts to giggle because that's the thing we do in wrestling now. If you get beat, you don't sell it, you laugh it off, which doesn't help anybody get over, if we're being honest. I mean, I understand you're a supernatural character and all, but if that was the case, you just don't get beat up. So this thing is actually looking a little bit more 50-50 than the previous Wyatt feuds, which is better. I'm a huge fan of Karrion Kross, big fan of The Miz. Love The Miz. The Miz took all of Kross's heat. Kross is great. Him doing the right thing by Paul Ellering and trying to get revenge and actually getting some measure of revenge only for Bo Dallas to laugh it off. The Wyatt's finally looking a little bit vulnerable. It doesn't make them good, but at least it makes this interesting. We'll see how it's booked from this point forward, but it seems like The Miz is the ultimate boss here. It might just be the way that the fans have been trained over the years, that The Miz is the character in this feud that gets the most reactions, that has the most interest, and that being involved with The Miz. Because I tell people all the time, every time people think that somebody is doing better than The Miz comes out better than the guy you claimed that he was. Oh, The Miz, he's just being carried by Damian Sandow. Oh, The Miz, he's just being carried by this guy. And then he ends up being way more over than these other guys. Johnny Nitro, the B-Team, all these guys that people claim, they were carrying The Miz. The Miz wasn't shit without them. He ended up being a little bit more over. Only time it actually happened is when he was in there with like John Cena and The Rock. But most other people, even Bryan Danielson, Miz is just chewing up scenery. He's too good at his job sometimes. And this is one of those times where he's actually very good. And I thoroughly enjoyed The Miz here. I enjoyed Karrion Kross too. I thought he was great. So I'm interested in this. I wish the Wyatts didn't look so damn silly. Bo Dallas in that dumbass mask with that dumbass wig. He just looks ridiculous. He's wearing a top hat at one point. I guess the top hat is over. Top hat done? I don't know. Can you at least do the hair on the wig where it just don't look like a wig? Can it look natural even a little bit? No? Never mind. But then again, that's Monday Night Raw. There we go. The main event. Shit, I forgot all about the main event. Oh boy. So the main event of the show, the Twin Towers, Jade, Cargill, Bianca Belair, defeat Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to retain the tag team championships. So what happened? Nia Jax came out and did one of the weakest Samoan drops I ever did see onto Jade Cargill on the ring apron. She just picked her up and tossed her back onto the ring apron. And I looked at that and said that didn't hurt. I know that didn't hurt. You could do that with a 3-year-old and it wouldn't hurt them. So just Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton came out there, and then Naomi came out there. And Liv Morgan caught a KOD and got pinned. So that was that. And it wasn't really built up all night except for one segment where Bianca and Jade Cargill cut a promo. And that was it. And they cut Jade Cargill's entrance. She was about to do her entrance, and then Bianca's music started to play. We got to hurry this shit up. We got to hurry this shit up. The main event was fine, I guess. I mean, it wasn't... Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez is in it. What can you do? You know, and Jade Cargill, everybody's giving Jade a hard time. She's in the remedial class, y'all. Come on. You had to know this by now. She only been wrestling in WWE about a year or so. She's been under contract for about a year. But she's been wrestling in WWE for less than a year. She's just started having matches in like January or February or something like that. So, yeah, she's been wrestling for a while. But she's still getting used to this style of WWE. And she's still getting her hand held. I did see that there was an article floating around out there that Bianca and Jade don't get along outside the ring. But that's gossip. How the hell would I know that? How the hell would anybody know that? I don't know whether they get along or not. Do they need to? Not really. If I was Bianca, I wouldn't be getting along with her because you're basically training your replacement. Soon as Jade get up to speed, she's gonna take Bianca's spot, guaranteed. In terms of this Nia Jax thing continuing with Liv Morgan and the tag team titles and all this stuff, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think about all of this stuff. It don't really matter at the end of the day. All I saw was people taking bumps, and then Io was out there. And I'm like, what the hell is she doing out here? Of all the people to appear out of nowhere, here's little Io. She's out there all of a sudden. I'm like, what the fuck? I know that she's supposed to have a match with Liv Morgan. I don't know when that is. But is that the reason why she was out there? I don't know, man. But whatever. I didn't hear anything about a women's Intercontinental Championship. So apparently they decided we're going to have a women's U.S. title. Seriously, why did they even name it the Women's U.S. Championship? That's so lazy. And it looks just like the men's U.S. title. That's so lazy. It's so lazy. It's so stupid. You could have at least named it something different. You know, it's so lazy. So now we got to wait for this women's Intercontinental title. And I'm surprised they didn't just announce it tonight, but they're going to have to announce it eventually, right? So Raquel is Raquel, Jade is Jade, Liv is as good as she's going to get. I don't think Liv is going to get much better than she is right now. And Liv has been in WWE 10 years or so. Yeah, she's been in WWE 10 years. She ain't going to get much better. Bianca, of course, is amazing. So this match probably should have been the second or third match on the show. It ended up being on the main event. And I don't know why. I can't figure out for the life of me why you would want this to main event your show. And then you would put Bron Breakker and Sheamus on a taped episode of Raw for next week. Just senseless stuff to me. But what did you guys think of Raw? To me, I'll say it was slight thumbs in the middle. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was terrible. Just didn't care enough about the stuff that was going on. Not really intrigued by any of the top storylines. The Gunther Damian Priest thing ain't really moving me. I like Damian Priest, but I haven't really liked this. I like Gunther. I'm interested in seeing where they go with this, how far they go with him kind of being concerned about Damian Priest or whatever. The women's championship division is, what is it really? It's just Io and Liv. That's it. You know, and now we got Nia Jax on the show and Naomi's on the show. Like, what the fuck are they doing here? They're SmackDown wrestlers. Why are they even here? But so there's not really much in terms of a women's championship scene, especially since Rhea Ripley got hurt. The Intercontinental title got a champion that's losing in 3 minutes to old guys. The tag team titles barely on TV at all. Dominic Mysterio is underutilized, not really doing much of anything, even though he's a heat magnet. And The Miz is getting more heat than anybody in 2024. So there's that. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. We're just gonna